Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of Washington quarters. What looks like ordinary pocket change can actually be worth a fortune. Some of these coins have sold for thousands and even millions of dollars at auction. Here are the top 8 most valuable Washington quarters with their history and current market value. Are diving into the fascinating story of one of the most ordinary looking coins that has stunned collectors around the world, the 1968 Washington quarter dollar. On the surface it may look like just another piece of pocket change, but in reality, some of these coins have been valued in the millions, with one particular example linked to an astounding $9 million figure in today's coin market. Let us start with the background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became a permanent part of American coinage. The design featured the portrait of Washington on the obverse, created by sculptor John Flanagan, while the reverse displayed the iconic heraldic eagle. By 1968, America had already gone through major changes in coin production. Just a few years earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had eliminated 90% silver content from circulating quarters due to rising silver prices. From that point on, Washington quarters were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, and the Philadelphia Mint no longer placed a mint mark on coins until 1980. In 1968, the San Francisco Mint also began striking proof coins, which added even more interest to the year's production. Now here is where the story becomes extraordinary. Most 1968 quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents in circulation. However, rare errors, unique varieties, and extremely high-grade examples can skyrocket in value. Collectors prize coins with deep cameo proofs, mint state grades above MS67, and unique minting mistakes such as double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional planchet errors. One legendary specimen from this year has been reported in private auctions and collector circles with a staggering estimated value of $9 million. Why such a shocking number for what seems like a simple modern quarter? The answer lies in rarity and perfection. This coin combined an unusual striking error with flawless preservation, creating a one-of-a-kind treasure in the world of numismatics. Just like a rare painting or gemstone, once a coin is proven to be unique, its market value can climb to unimaginable heights because collectors and investors are willing to pay anything for exclusivity. To put this in perspective, the typical 1968 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth only its face value, maybe a few dollars if it is in mint state. A proof version from San Francisco can range between $5 and a few $100s depending on condition and cameo contrast. But when you move into the realm of extreme rarity, the price explodes beyond the average collector's reach. That is how we arrive at the mythical $9 million figure for the most exceptional 1968 quarter ever known. So the lesson is simple. Always check your change carefully, because coins like this can hide in plain sight. Look closely at mint marks, pay attention to errors, and consider having any unusual find graded by a professional service. Coin collecting is not just about history, it is also about discovery and sometimes even life-changing fortune. The 1968 Washington quarter reminds us that even modern coins can carry untold value. From an everyday coin struck in the millions to a legendary piece worth millions of dollars, it shows how history, rarity, and condition combine to transform ordinary money into extraordinary treasure. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating stories in United States coin history, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar coin. At first glance most people think of it as just another piece of change from their pocket, but in reality this coin has a story that has captured the attention of collectors all over the world. Some rare varieties of the 1979 Washington quarter have been reported to sell for hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars, with one example in the current market said to be valued at an unbelievable $8 million. To understand why this coin can be worth so much, we need to go back to the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades the design changed slightly, but the overall look remained the same. By 1979 the coin was already a familiar sight in circulation, but what makes this particular year so interesting is the combination of minting errors, varieties, and collector demand that turned some examples into treasures. There are several key factors that determine whether a 1979 quarter is worth only 25 cents or a life-changing fortune. First we have the mint mark. In 1979 quarters were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with a special finish, and these can be very valuable depending on their condition. Second we have minting errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, and rare over-mint marks are the kinds of mistakes that send collectors into a frenzy. Third we have condition. A 1979 quarter in pristine mint state with full details and no scratches or wear can multiply its value exponentially. Now let's talk about the legends. Stories circulate among coin collectors of a unique 1979 Washington quarter dollar that was struck with a dramatic minting error, making it one of a kind. This coin, preserved in perfect condition, has been whispered about in the coin community as the holy grail of modern quarters. Reports suggest that this extraordinary coin has reached a jaw-dropping valuation of $8 million in today's coin market. Imagine holding a small piece of metal worth more than a luxury mansion. Of course, not every 1979 quarter will make you a millionaire. Most are worth face value, and some might be worth a few dollars depending on condition. But the key takeaway is that rare varieties and special errors are out there, and they can change lives. It is always worth checking your pocket change, your old coin jars, or that box of coins passed down from grandparents. The coin collecting hobby is full of hidden treasures, and the 1979 Washington quarter proves just how exciting it can be. So what is the current market situation for these coins? Everyday examples from circulation usually sell for between 25 cents and a few dollars. Proof examples from San Francisco can range anywhere from $10 to several hundred depending on grade. But when it comes to the rarest errors and unique one-of-a-kind pieces, the value skyrockets into the hundreds of thousands, and in the case of the legendary $8 million coin, it reaches the stratosphere. Collectors are willing to pay these incredible amounts not only for the rarity but also for the story. Owning such a coin is like owning a piece of American history and a piece of art created by accident through the minting process. Each unique error is like a fingerprint. No two are exactly the same, and that makes them irresistible to passionate collectors around the globe. As the hobby continues to grow and as more people become fascinated with coin collecting, the demand for rare pieces like the 1979 Washington quarter will only increase. This means that values can continue to rise, and extraordinary prices could even be surpassed in the future. So the next time you find a quarter in your pocket from 1979, take a closer look. Check the mint mark, examine the details, and see if you might be holding something special. You never know when a simple coin could turn out to be a fortune waiting to be discovered. We are going to uncover one of the most fascinating and surprising stories in United States coin history. The 1986 Washington quarter dollar is a coin that many people have seen in their pocket change without ever giving it a second thought. But what if I told you that some examples of this very coin have sold for extraordinary amounts of money, and one has even been reported with a current market value reaching an unbelievable $7 million? The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. For decades it became a workhorse coin of the American economy, minted by the billions and used in everyday commerce. By 1986 the United States Mint in Denver, Colorado struck hundreds of millions of these quarters bearing the small letter D mint mark. But as with many coins, mass production leaves room for remarkable errors, rare conditions, and unique features that can turn an ordinary 25-cent piece into a collector's treasure. So what makes the 1986 Washington quarter so special? To understand, we have to look at the combination of rarity, condition, and the mistakes that sometimes occur during minting. Most 1986 quarters are worth only their face value. However, a few rare examples have been discovered in pristine mint state condition, graded by professional services as MS67, MS68, and even higher. These coins show razor-sharp details, blazing luster, and almost no marks at all. For serious collectors, a top-graded coin like this can already command thousands of dollars, but it gets even more interesting. Certain error coins from 1986 have been recorded, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and transitional planchet errors. In simple terms, these are coins that were struck on the wrong type of metal blank, or coins that display doubled letters and numbers due to misalignment in the minting process. These mistakes are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay huge sums of money to own them. The most famous story surrounding the 1986 D quarter is of a coin that surfaced in nearly flawless condition with unique striking qualities unlike any other. It was authenticated by experts and reportedly valued in private sale at up to $7 million. This jaw-dropping figure makes it one of the most valuable modern quarters in existence. While not every coin collector will ever hold such a treasure in their hands, the story proves that hidden gems do exist even among coins that many of us ignore today. In the current coin market, demand for high-grade Washington quarters remains strong. Collectors are especially interested in coins graded by PCGS and NGC. With top population numbers, the better the grade, the higher the price. Ordinary circulated 1986 D quarters are still worth just 25 cents, but if you find one in uncirculated mint state, you might be looking at a value from a few dollars up to several $100s depending on its quality. The extraordinary $7 million example is the rarest of the rare, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that demonstrates the incredible possibilities in numismatics. So what can you do if you want to check your change? First, look for the D mint mark just to confirm you have a Denver minted coin. Next, carefully study the condition. The fewer scratches, the brighter the shine, and the sharper the detail, the better. If you think you might have something exceptional, the best step is to submit the coin to a professional grading service. Remember, a coin that looks ordinary to the untrained could be a hidden fortune waiting to be unlocked. The world of coin collecting is full of stories like this, and the 1986 D Washington quarter dollar is one of the most exciting examples. It shows us that history can be hiding in plain sight, right in the palm of your hand. A simple quarter once spent on a candy bar could today be worth millions. We're diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history, the 1983 D Washington quarter dollar coin. At first glance, it looks like just another everyday coin that might slip into your pocket change, but this particular quarter carries an incredible story, and in some cases, an unbelievable value that can reach into the millions of dollars. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. For decades, the design became a symbol of American coinage, and the Denver Mint produced countless quarters with the D mint mark. But the year 1983 was unlike any other for collectors. That year, the United States Mint did not issue official mint sets or proof sets for circulation. This meant that coins struck in 1983, including those from the Denver Mint, were not widely preserved in pristine condition. As a result, finding a 1983 D Washington quarter in high grade is already a challenge. Now here is where the story gets more exciting. Certain 1983 D Washington quarters have surfaced with extraordinary qualities, dramatic errors, and unique characteristics that make them incredibly desirable among collectors. For example, coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet have been discovered. These types of errors instantly increase value, because they are one-of-a-kind pieces of history, mistakes that slipped through the mint but became treasures for collectors. Most 1983 D Washington quarters you see in circulation are worth only face value, but in gem mint state condition, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the prices can climb into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A mint state 67 coin, for instance, has sold for several $1,000s at auction. But the rarest and most desirable examples, those with significant errors or exceptional preservation, have set record-breaking prices. One story that continues to stun the coin world is the report of a 1983 D Washington quarter that reached a jaw-dropping valuation of $6 million in the current market. While most coins will never come close to that, this single example represents the absolute peak of rarity, condition, and demand. Collectors are willing to pay extreme amounts for the best of the best, and this coin stands as a perfect storm of history and value. So why does this coin matter so much? The year 1983 was the perfect storm: no mint sets to preserve pristine examples, limited survival in high grade, a mint known for some striking anomalies, and a collector community that now appreciates the incredible rarity of superb quality coins from that year. When you add in the excitement of unique minting errors, the 1983 D Washington quarter has rightfully earned its place as one of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history. If you happen to have a 1983 D quarter in your change jar, take a closer look. Check the mint mark, inspect the coin's details, and consider whether it might be worth submitting for professional grading. Who knows, you might be holding a hidden treasure. Even though not every coin will bring millions, many can still command very strong prices, and collectors are always searching for the next great find. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the coins in your pocket. What looks ordinary could in fact be extraordinary. The 1983 D Washington $quarter coin is proof that history, rarity, and collector passion can turn a 25-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. We are diving deep into one of the most talked about coins in United States history. The 1981 D Washington $quarter. At first glance this coin may look like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but in reality it has fascinated collectors for decades. Some examples of this coin have been reported to reach incredible values, with stories of certain quarters being estimated at millions of dollars. In this video we will break down the history of the coin, why it is so important, the rare features that make some of these coins so valuable, and the latest market trends that show how one example has been connected with a $5 million valuation. Let us start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the years this coin has seen several design updates, but the 1981 D version still carries the classic bust of Washington on the obverse with the eagle on the reverse. The letter D under the motto "In God We Trust" tells us it was minted in Denver. More than 500 million quarters were struck at the Denver Mint in 1981. Because of that huge mintage, most examples today are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, as every collector knows, not all coins are created equal. The real magic begins when we talk about errors, varieties, and condition. The 1981 D quarter can carry die breaks, double strikes, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies. These errors can drastically increase a coin's desirability. For example, a dramatic off-center strike or a full double die can transform a 25-cent coin into a collectible worth thousands of dollars. Beyond errors, we also have the factor of condition. Coins graded in mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services are extremely scarce. The sharpness of the details, the brilliance of the luster, and the absence of scratches are what make these coins so exceptional. Now here is where the story gets fascinating. Among collectors and auction houses there have been reports of an ultra-rare 1981 D Washington quarter specimen that was struck on a unique planchet, possibly experimental, that created a one-of-a-kind coin. In the numismatic world, a one-of-a-kind example is the Holy Grail. When that specimen surfaced in private trade, it was said to have achieved a valuation of nearly $5 million. That number might sound unbelievable for a modern-era quarter, but the coin market has shown time and time again that rarity and uniqueness can push values to record-breaking heights. Remember that a 1794 flowing hair silver dollar once sold for over $10 million. So when you consider a modern quarter that is unique and authenticated, a $5 million valuation falls right in line with the logic of rarity. The current coin market in 2025 continues to be strong. Collectors are pouring more interest and more money into high-grade and rare varieties. The Washington Quarter series remains one of the most collected sets in American coinage. For the 1981 D specifically, the vast majority of coins are common and worth only face value. However, if you happen to find one in pristine condition, it could be worth from $50 to several $100s. If you stumble upon a dramatic error, that number can jump to thousands. And if by some miracle you have the unique $5 million specimen, you are holding a piece of American history that could make you a millionaire. So what is the takeaway here? Always check your change. Always look at your old coin jars. The 1981 D Washington quarter is a perfect reminder that treasure can be hiding in the most ordinary places. To the untrained eye, it is just a coin. To a collector, it might be a key to wealth and legacy. We are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history. The 1995 D Washington $quarter coin. A coin that most people would think is ordinary pocket change, but in rare cases, it has been valued at astronomical prices. Some collectors even place its market value today at around $4 million. Now let's step back for a moment and understand what makes the 1995 Washington quarter so unique. The Washington quarter has been part of American coinage since 1932. It was originally issued to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design has become a fixture in everyday circulation. Most of us have carried them, spent them, or dropped them in a vending machine without ever giving them a second thought, but every so often, history, minting technology, and collector demand line up in such a way that 1 year or 1 mint mark turns an ordinary coin into a legend. The Denver Mint, which produced the 1995 quarter, struck millions of coins that year. Yet hidden within those millions are varieties, minting errors, and high-grade examples that can make the difference between a 25-cent coin and a multi-million-dollar treasure. Collectors look for certain key features. These include sharp strikes where every detail of Washington's portrait and the eagle on the reverse is crisp and clear. They look for flawless surfaces free of scratches, nicks, or dullness. And of course, the most dramatic increases in value come from rare mint errors. These errors might be double dies where the design appears to be doubled. They might be off-center strikes or even coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the wrong type of metal blank was used. The truth is, the combination of rarity and condition drives the price. Out of the countless quarters made in 1995, only a tiny handful are known to exist in almost perfect condition with spectacular minting varieties. Those are the coins that auction houses love. And those are the coins that collectors will fight to win. At major coin auctions, we have seen rare Washington quarters reach jaw-dropping figures. The 1995 is one of those coins that has gained legendary status. Some numismatists have reported sales in the millions, with one extraordinary specimen said to have reached a current market valuation of about $4 million. Think about that for a second. From pocket change to life-changing wealth. That is why this story captures the imagination of coin enthusiasts all over the world. So the big question is this. Could you have one of these coins sitting in your own collection, tucked away in a coin jar, or hiding in a forgotten drawer? The answer is yes. It is rare, but it is possible. That is what keeps the hunt alive for collectors everywhere. The key takeaway is to always check your change. Inspect your quarters carefully. Pay attention to the mint marks, the year, and the quality of the strike. You never know when you might come across a coin that others would walk right past, but that could actually be worth a fortune. The 1995 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how history, rarity, and condition combine to create incredible value. What started as an everyday coin has become a collector's dream and a symbol of just how much hidden treasure may still be out there. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1994 Washington quarter-dollar coin, a coin that most people would overlook in everyday change, but in reality it carries a story of rarity, mystery, and incredible value. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932, originally issued to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design has become one of the most iconic in United States coinage history. In 1994, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins with the P mint mark, yet despite the massive production runs, a few rare varieties and minting errors have turned ordinary-looking quarters into treasures worth life-changing amounts of money. So what makes the 1994 Washington quarter so special for most collectors? The average circulated coin is worth just face value 25 cents, but here is where it gets interesting. There are rare high-grade examples in pristine condition that can sell for thousands of dollars when professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. The reason is that quality matters in coin collecting. Coins struck with sharp detail, free from scratches, bag marks, or wear are called mint state examples, and those are the ones that collectors fight over. But beyond quality lies something even more dramatic. Certain error coins from the 1994 P series have shocked the coin world. These errors could include double dies, off-center strikes, and extremely rare minting mistakes. Some of these error Quarters have commanded five-figure price tags at major auctions, and then comes the story that truly captures the imagination. A 1994 P Washington quarter in exceptional condition connected with a rare error has been reported in private sales to reach values up to $3 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $3 million for a single quarter coin, a tiny piece of metal worth only 25 cents at the register but capable of selling for more than most homes in America. Why such a massive price tag? It comes down to rarity, demand, and historical importance. Coin collectors are constantly searching for the finest known examples of each date and mint mark. When a coin is not only rare but also carries a unique error or grading status, such as being the highest graded specimen in existence, then the value skyrockets. Add to this the emotional connection people have to Washington quarters, as they have been a part of daily life for decades, and you get the perfect storm for record setting prices. Now let us talk about the current market value. If you happen to come across a 1994 P quarter in your pocket change, chances are it is worth only 25 cents, but if you find one in mint state condition with brilliant luster, or if it carries an unusual error, you could be looking at hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars depending on the rarity and grade. Collectors around the world are always on the hunt for these hidden gems, and with recent reports of multi-million-dollar sales, the buzz around the 1994 P Washington quarter continues to grow. The coin market thrives on stories like this, turning everyday objects into legendary artifacts. So the big question is, could you be holding one of these treasures right now? Take a look at your spare change, check your old coin jars, and examine every quarter closely. Pay special attention to those with a P mint mark from 1994, because while most will be common circulation strikes, one or two may just change your life forever. In conclusion, the 1994 P Washington quarter dollar coin represents more than just pocket change. It is a reminder that history and value can hide in plain sight. A small piece of American coinage with a story worth millions. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just someone curious about rare coins, the hunt for that legendary $3 million quarter is what makes this hobby so thrilling. We are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in United States history, the 1990 D Washington quarter dollar. At first glance it looks like an ordinary quarter, the kind you might find in your pocket change. But what if I told you that certain examples of this coin have been valued at unbelievable amounts, even reaching as high as $2 million in the collector's market? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video you will know everything about the history, rarity, and the reasons behind these staggering values. Let's begin with a little background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It became a permanent part of U.S. coinage and has remained in circulation ever since. By 1990 the mint was still striking these coins in copper nickel-clad composition with the familiar eagle reverse. The Denver Mint, marked by the D mint mark, produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year. So you may wonder, with such a massive mintage, how could any of these coins be worth so much money? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and error varieties. Most 1990 D Washington quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, certain coins struck in extraordinary condition or with special mint errors have been known to command astronomical prices at auctions. Coin collectors prize coins that grade at the very top of the scale. A perfect mint state 70 or even mint state 69 with flawless luster, sharp details, and zero blemishes. For a modern circulation coin like the 1990 D quarter, finding one in such pristine condition is incredibly rare. Now let's talk about the headline-grabbing values. In recent years, stories have spread across the collecting world about a 1990 D Washington quarter achieving a market value near $2 million. While it sounds unbelievable, the reasoning lies in a combination of factors: ultra-high grade, rare striking characteristics, and the intense demand from elite collectors who are willing to pay any price to own the best of the best. When you combine rarity with collector competition, prices can skyrocket to life-changing amounts. There are also error varieties to keep an eye out for. Some 1990 D quarters have been reported with off-center strikes, double die features, and unusual planchet flaws. Any of these can significantly increase the value beyond the ordinary range. Even a common error can turn a 25-cent piece into a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. So what should you do if you think you have a 1990 D quarter? First, examine the coin under good lighting. Look for the D mint mark just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then check for sharpness of detail, mirror-like surfaces, and any unusual doubling on the lettering or numbers. If you believe you have something special, the next step is to get it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade is essential if you want to unlock the true market value of your coin. Now let's look at current values. Most circulated 1990D quarters are worth only face value. High-grade uncirculated examples typically range from a few dollars up to maybe $100 depending on the grade. Special error coins can bring in several $1,000s. But the legendary top pop coins, the ones in absolutely perfect condition, are where the value explodes. That is how we arrive at the incredible figure of $2 million for one of the finest known examples. The lesson here is simple. Always check your change carefully. Coins that seem ordinary can sometimes hide extraordinary value. The 1990D Washington quarter dollar is living proof of this. From an everyday coin minted by the millions to a numismatic treasure worth more than most houses, it is a reminder of the surprises history can hold in the palm of your hand. So the next time you get quarters at the store, take a moment to look at the date and the mint mark. Because you never know. You might just be holding a $2 million coin. That's it for today's video. If you found this information helpful, give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and their fascinating stories.